Yeah, against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
You always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. One love to the Twitch gang. As you know, you lot are my favorites. Don't tell the YouTubers, like I say all the time. Please make sure you're following and subscribing and all of that good stuff on Twitch as we, you know, start the road to obviously 10k and beyond. That's the first target. Well, first realistic target is 5k, then we go on to 10, etc. On the topic of milestones, one love to everyone who's been on the journey via YouTube, obviously. You know, I reached 40,000 subs today. I mean, that's an absolute madness. You know, that fills up a significant part of the Emirates, people. So one love to everyone who supported whenever you've supported, and hopefully by God's grace, yeah, man, you lot continue to support the thing. Obviously, if you're over here in the UK, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and even in some cases, good night. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's safe. Hope everyone's got their health and all of those sort of things, people. Obviously, we're at the halfway point in the week, people. My fan has just dropped. I don't know why that's happened, people. So we're gonna have to fix that up. But as I was saying, it's the halfway point in this week, people. So I hope you're all moving that much closer to your goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. One love to everyone. Keep your opinions and them things there coming, people. I'm just gonna assess the studio because it's putting me off, and I don't know if you lot can hear this mad noise, but one love to everybody who's tuned in. 40,000. I said 40,000. I say I'm on 40,000 subscribers. Yeah. Hey, it's not always rap, man. Sometimes try to do them mad sounds. You get me? Miley Cyrus needs to shout me for them collabs. Anything to get out the hood. Anyways, I'm back, people. One love to all the, you know, all the YouTube gang, even though you should all be here via Twitch because it's not streaming at the moment. Make sure, if you don't know, you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing on Twitch. You're following. You're getting your opinions in. And more importantly than that, folks, you're just staying safe. Now, everything seems to be going wrong for me because all I want to do is take in you lot's opinions. But between getting up and coming back, I've tangled up my wires. So one sec, you probably won't hear me for a second, people. And I should be back now. Everything should be cushy. Everything should be fine. Obviously, one love to everybody. One love to, you know, his username's a bit of a funny one on YouTube. Little Nitty for that little intro he did. You know, I just thought I'd play it. You know, you lot of the community. So if you lot do little things like that, I'd rather show you lot. And positive feedback. Tino's feeling the wave. Should we run it back one more time?
you always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like
It's wavy, innit? It's just missing my goal. That would make a fantastic outro. But like I said, one love when you lot do things like that, man. You know, I've had thumbnail borders made for man. Tino, you're always offering him info. Skyter's been a massive help with the watch alongs and things. I appreciate you lot for doing things like that. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. DG with the vocals, you got to, man. You got to. Recording things soon land. Like I always say, one love for the 40k. Come on, I appreciate that. Live from Planet X and S. Come on. Well, that wasn't the comment I was meant to bring up, but it is what it is. You were right all along. ODEGAARD is. It's not that I was right or anything. It's just it's an educated guess. It's like you do the maths. You know, Arsenal, yeah, we've pushed the boat out to get Ramsdale on the basis of Sheffield, to our knowledge, don't want to sell, and we kind of did, you know, we kind of put down the money for Ben White. But historically, when it comes to them sort of signings, you don't know how the script goes. The player wants to come, we want the player, we know his grand's an Arsenal fan, he's got the same agent as someone, Personal terms are not a problem. There's more openness. There's a willingness to get it done. The optimism starts going. But fundamentally, it's down to the P's. Now, from a sporting point of view, as I keep saying, there's no logical reason for Maddison to leave Liverpool, Leicester for Arsenal. Fundamentally, if he keeps doing what he's doing, and granted has better seasons than he's had, the bigger boys will come for him. From a purely sporting basis, Leicester are a better team than us. They're finishing ahead of us. We can say we've won more trophies in the last 10 years, but they're doing more bits than us. They're more of a forward-thinking club. There's more stability from their owner to what they're doing on a coaching basis. Brendan Rodgers or Arteta, again, I think you would learn more at this current present in time than from Brendan Rodgers, you know. So it's not the best environment. Yeah, you might get better wages. Yeah, the commercial things and the London aspect, there's reasons, but it doesn't make sense. And fundamentally, Madrid are broke. You know, yeah, they're being linked with a return for Cristiano, which we'll touch on lightly in a bit. And they're being linked with Mbappe and all of these things, but they're broke. They want to sell, much less. It's been a bit. Nobody really knows the truth in relation to if Ødegaard is going to get a proper opportunity at Madrid. Clearly, something's changed. You know, they've got Ancelotti, Madrid, Ødegaard, Arteta and co. The lip service is done. And, you know, clearly Ødegaard went there, back to Madrid, tried to assist the situation. It hasn't worked out. If it did, we'd probably be in a mess, because then it would really be Maddison or broke. For once, Arsenal's educated gamble has paid off in that we was betting on the situation at Madrid to not look like it's changed, and obviously we've benefited it. And obviously 35 to 40 million euros, whatever you see in the paper for Ødegaard, it's substantially less than Maddison. And, you know, I love Maddison as a player. I'm not, you know, I don't think anyone's begrudged to say who is the better player, or I like Maddison, I don't like Ødegaard, I like Ødegaard, I don't like Maddison. But if we look at it, you know, people move, like, as I keep saying, like Maddison's top 5 in the world and Ødegaard is top 5 worst players in the world, where it's in the middle. They're both good players. They've both got quality. And you might look at it as this, you know, certain people would have been more happier with Maddison on the basis of a fan and making me sit up and get gassed and exciting the fans. Obviously, Maddison would have been better. It feels like Ødegaard's been here, but people are writing him off. You know what? There's a year between them. I think Maddison's older by a year, maybe 2. I could be gassing it, but there's not much in that regards. And yet Maddison might go off and be a madman, but is at this moment in time, is he worth 70 million? I'm not in the future, all of these things, for what it's worth, I'll be prepared to break the bank for Maddison because I rate him. But is he worth 70 million at this moment in time today? Is he, you know, or is that overpaying? Because as much as people are sitting there saying, yo, we should have done that, we should have do this, we should have done that, they would still say we've overpaid, we've gambled. Maddison would go into a system that isn't going to thrive. I don't even think Ødegaard at present is going to thrive in this attacking system until the midfield is addressed, until I see Arteta start coaching and want to get forward and actually want to score goals. We all know the metrics we were underperforming. I think it's a fallacy. The player's going to come in, we're not going to know how to get the best out of them. So you could say what we've saved substantially more money getting Ødegaard ahead of Maddison, because people might have said we'd overpay. There's about a 30-40 million quid difference, really. And, you know, that might allow us to get this Ramsdale number 2 goalie down. You know, for me, I got small hope that this hour thing, there must be 25 million to spare to bring in Martin, to bring in Hossam Aouar to play next to Partey. You know, I'd be content. I would love Maddison, but I'd be content with Ødegaard and Aouar. You know, on the topic of Aouar as well, people, you know, not that you lot haven't known this already. We know Lyon are broke. We know they want to sell players. We know we've got interest in Ødegaard, but I was going to speak on it. We might as well kill, better yet, 2 birds with 1 stone. One love to everybody who's locked in. Please make sure you're following and them things there. But as you lot can see here, Hossam Aouar among those on the transfer list as Lyon Juninho deals with dressing room attitude issues. So again, you know, Lyon got their own situation they want to fix up. It feels like there's an end of a cycle. You know, Depay's left. KANE, as you see, there's linked with a move away. Hossam Aouar, even the young Ryan Cherki is linked with a move away. Edu, if you want to do something for this club, you need to holler your fellow countryman Juninho and either get us Kakare, Aouar, or that Ryan Cherki guy, or bring them all in. And while you're at it, stop off in Austria or whatever. I don't know how you get there from there, but go and get us Karim Adeyemi. But away from Dreamworld, long story short, again, I'm paraphrasing a bit. There's a number of players expected to depart the club where Lyon are concerned. And skipping to the front, you know, here, apparently, you know, for what it's worth, people, apparently this Marcelo brother, a madness happened in the 3-0 defeat to Angers. There's rumors, you know, there was a bust up with teammates. There's even rumors, apparently he played so bad that they're just saying, cancel your contract, you're not playing no more, and them things there. I think we could take note from behaviors like that. But skipping to the bottom, as you lot can see here, Hossam Aouar could also leave at a lower price than has previously been asked for by the club. 18-year-old prospect Ryan Cherki and veteran striker Islam Stilmani are also being eyed up for a potential departure should a high enough offer come in. Obviously, they probably don't want to. He's just come in January, and that's a golden boy. I firmly think he's going to be. He's 18 and he's been on the scene for a while. I truly think he's going to be a good player. It's down to him to develop, and I think there's a few more players they'd probably rather sell. Again on Hossam Aouar, this is kind of reiterating the same things that's being said here, people. Well, can't even see, but there it basically said, long story short, that Lyon haven't received any offers for Hossam Aouar. They're open to selling him and whatnot, but again, no offers have been on the table. Is that a case of Arsenal wanted to do the bulk of their business very early, getting in what I believe was a top target in Ødegaard? When I look at it, if you really flip it on its head, we're going into this window thinking as fans, or let me speak for myself, we're revamping that midfield, because to me, I'm seeing Martin Ødegaard going back to Real Madrid. Obviously, we need to fix the midfield even with Xhaka, but we were hearing Xhaka's leaving. Now, when I look at it, something must have changed. Arteta must have been a bit more hopeful of keeping Xhaka, whether you like that or not, or whether I like that or not. Xhaka's now come in, so that's been a change. So with that, has it always been a case of doubling down on Ødegaard? Like I said, the gamble in relation to Ødegaard has kind of worked, because, Carlo could have said, I'm going to use you, or, he could have still been naive and said, like Ceballos, I'm going to stay and do all of these things, and it could have went elsewhere. So again, I think it's kind of shifted. So if they walk away with Ødegaard, again, there's still issues, but I think that's where they're at. In relation to Martin Ødegaard as well, again, people are starting to track his plane and all of those sort of things. Apparently, his agent was in England, and now he's in England. Apparently, Arsenal are working on a deal to sign Real Madrid midfielder Martin Ødegaard on a permanent fee, permanent transfer for a fee in the region of £30 million, as you lot can see here. If we browse over to Fabrizio Romano, he has said, Martin Ødegaard to Arsenal, here we go, and deal confirmed. Permanent move, bit less than 40 million to Real Madrid. Personal terms already agreed on a 5-year contract, so he'll be committed until 2025. There's indirect talk of first refusal. Now that's different from a buyback clause, because it just means that Real Madrid, can have to be notified if you want to sell them. And obviously, if I have first refusal and the next party bids for the player 5 million and I bid 5 million, by that logic, my bid should still be accepted because of that, which I can't begrudge Madrid for. We could be, and it would help us. We've got him for 30, 40. If he develops and becomes the Martin Ødegaard we all believe he's got potential to have, then boy, it's going to help the club, because we'd have a player that's going to be here for a couple of years and help us get back to where we're getting at, ultimately blossom as a footballer. Obviously, there's resale value there. You're kind of hoping that the Ballagans, the Sakas, the Smith Rowes, the Martin Ødegaards, the Gabriels, the Ben Whites, all the people of that ilk, Lokonga, they can develop and become players of worth real value. So if we ever get into a situation where we need to revamp the squad, people can actually be sold for respectable fees, just like at Chelsea. We're going to get on to Tammy Abraham. Must be nice being able to raise £34 million in a COVID pandemic for your team. Obviously, I think Chelsea have made about 100 million or so of sales and whatnot, people, and how much have they spent? Again, people say Chelsea spend and all these things, and they might do, but you've got to give credit where due. This is the situation we don't want to be in. So, let's be real. I'm not saying I want these guys to fail, but if we ever get into a situation where we need to revamp, as we know, squads tend to work in cycles. Let's just assume all these players in and around our first team reach maturity. We might need to change things up. People can be sold. No more. I know you lot dream of a world like myself where we're trying to raise funds, but we're actually, it's like working in a vegetable market and you're running around trying to sell rotten potatoes, and that people know you're a fraud and they know it's silly. You're doing the cowboy builders thing. I dream of a world where we know we need to sell, we know we need to bring in, and we're not dealing with the massive contracts and the outlays of the Kolasinacs, of the Williams, So you lot all know the scrappy players that are in and amongst our wages and are crippling the club's ability to progress. But it is what it is in that regards, people. So yeah, man, lovely way to kick it off. That's where we're at with Martin Ødegaard, or where Martin Ødegaard is concerned. You'd probably, hopefully we see some confirmation today, or in fact, I hope not, because I'll have to stream again, really, hoping to actually do some admin. Shout out to Tino, because I was going through your email in relation to Twitch. I can't lie. I was very overwhelming. Not anything you've said, just I knew Twitch was overwhelming, but bloody hell, there's many layers to this thing. So yeah, that's where we're at in relation to Martin Ødegaard. Get your opinions, questions, and the rest of it in. It doesn't just have to be Arsenal people. I try to talk neutral about football a lot of the time, but it is what it is. What are you lot saying? One love for the 40k. Ad made me miss the new intro. That's a shame, man. I'll spin it again in a sec still. Appreciate you lot, man. Fan down. Just clocked. That was funny still. Some of you kill me. Afternoon, Ben. I hope you're doing well and safe, man. I hope everybody's doing well and safe, obviously, man. Lukaku has set the blueprint for Tammy. He has, you know. Let me get on to Tammy in a sec, because again, we need the timestamps. But I think so. I think Tammy's going to return a better player. And once again, you know what? Fuck it, man. You set it up in it. We might as well quickly speak about Tammy and things, man. So you said it already in it. Like you said, I think Lukaku's kind of set the blueprint. I think one thing I like about Tammy, in a nice way, from a footballing point of view, because he's a nice lad, I think he's a scumbag for goals. I think he can be a scumbag striker. Like whatever you say about Tammy, his hold up play and all these things, which I think will improve and need to improve, he can score goals. And obviously, as a striker, you've got to have the knack for that. I just feel Tammy just needs a bit of work. For me, proactiveness. You know, as a striker, you've got to expect your teammate to miss it and follow in. You know, as a striker, you got to expect that defender to not get there. You've got to be proactive. And when certain man got the ball, you already know what runs to make. Sometimes it feels like Tammy is watching the game on the edge of their seat, on the edge of a seat like a fan. He does have he does score important goals and clinical goals. I think he needs a bit of confidence. I think Chelsea are laughing because, you know, I think he goes to Italy for a couple of years. Jose Mourinho does very good work with strikers and centre halves. He'll score a lot of goals. He'll improve. Obviously, the situation is not the same, but Lukaku's general play improved. So if they do the same things they did in Rome, like they did in Milan, he'll become a better player. You know, you can probably bet your bottom dollar there's a sell-on clause for Chelsea if they do not exercise their buyback clause. So they've made peas. And fundamentally, you need to remember, a homegrown talent has come all the way from your first team, won the Champions League, and be sold. You know, and I've always said it, you know, if Chelsea want to sell Tammy, they're not selling Mount, but Mount, all of these guys, they're raising peas. You know, not everyone can go first team. You know, Livramento went Southampton, Gurhey went Palace. You know, there's a couple other players. I think Tammy's going to relish it in Roma. I think he's going to bad it up. I think he's going to have a real good time. Obviously, for obvious reasons, off-field reasons, we all know, and if you know, you know, there is obviously one major concern you have, not just with Tammy, but, you know, Tomori going to Italy when he initially did. You know, I'm happy to see it with Tammy. And I'm thinking a bit ahead. I don't know if Tammy ever has any aspirations to coach, but generally, maybe 10, 20 years from now, I'm keen to see the byproduct of what our coaching, you know, what the coaching looks like in this country, because of so many players have gone out on loan. You know, a lot of people forget Mason Mount went on loan to Holland. What did he learn about football there? You know, because all he's had is Chelsea and England and all these things. So he's gone over there. What did he learn? Of the same logic, but completely different. Todd Cantwell, he's had a loan in Holland. So what's he learned? So obviously you see where I'm going, you know. Again, Spanish coaches and Italian coaches and all these things, they're well traveled, but they still reflect their country's values. You know, Spain always going to be possession based, Italy always going to have that spirit, but you know, there's probably little tips and tricks that they've picked up along the way, or people they've crossed paths with. So I think Tammy's going to have a good, you know, I think he's going to have a good time in Rome. I'm quite jealous at how effective Chelsea are doing things, because, you know, the signing of Lukaku kind of pays for itself. I know that it's not the same, and I know Lukaku comes with a big wage packet and he comes with a big signing on fee, but you've made 100-odd million. They're going to make more money on a couple of sales. You know, Emerson's in the talks of going away. Tammy might develop, and, you know, I don't know. Let's just say, I don't think Tammy's going to be in Rome for 5 years, but let's just say he's there for free. And Lukaku at the end of a 3-year period is looking shaky, and Chelsea want to do what they want to do. Tammy could very much return home. Now, whether he wants to is a different thing, but I think it's a good signing, man. And obviously, where Lukaku's concerned, people, he's confirmed he's getting the number 9 for Chelsea. As you lot know, he signed a new deal worth 115 million and whatnot, people, in total. Obviously, signed a 5-year deal, and he's getting 12 to 13 million a year net. That's about 195 quid a week after tax, and that's made him the highest earner at the club. So yeah, obviously, you know, if they still want Haaland, when the time comes, because you can't rule out one and another striker. Things are going to get flipped on its head, really. So yeah, I think Tammy's going to thrive. I think Lukaku's going to thrive. Lukaku banged on about being fully fit in the little open session Chelsea had / press conference. He's ready to go and relish in playing Arsenal. So we'll focus more on Lukaku towards the end of the week. Not that we're not at the end of the week, but you get where I'm going with the previews and all of these sort of things. So we'll see what's up in that regards, man. But yeah, man, that's the 5p. That's the 5 cents I wanted to say about Abraham, really. Ødegaard has already been here, so I need consistency. We do, you know. He ain't had the best of pre-seasons, but you know, it's a full season now. I need to see it. And I felt sorry. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt sorry for Ødegaard, bro, because he came in, it was a bit slow to get going. Then it looked like he found his feet. He was looking good, you know. For me, what was it? The Leicester comeback, the crazy game at West Ham. I think there was one, I can't remember who, but I remember in the Europa League, we turned it around. Him and Willian actually did all right. It might have been Benfica. I might be lying to you lot. It felt like he finally was getting comfortable and enjoying his football, and everything that he's ever been seeking in football, that's what he was going for. And then he went to the international break. You heard he had a little knock on him, and then, you know, Arteta's played him with it, and he hasn't looked the same. It's like he's been slow. Purple patch, slow again. So then you're wondering, is it Arteta kind of messing him about, you know, that hasn't taken him to that level? Is that actually his level? But like you said, consistency. You know, he needs to be consistent, because at the end of the day, you know, you're not the 16-year-old man anymore. You're turning 23. You can't keep doing this teenager thing. It's time to settle, and you need to be a leader. You was in the last live stream, so I'm not going to bore you with what we already know and said, in that, you know, the system is what will make the difference with all of these players, really and truly. Some of these players are not good enough. People like Ødegaard are, and it would be a bit of a shame if there's not an attacking system. We can't sit here and say Arsenal have an attacking system. So how can attacking players thrive? Again, not to mention Arsene Wenger, but we had a blueprint, so you knew players could thrive here. Mikel Arteta doesn't have that. Unless, for me, you're a defender or you're a ball winner, I can't see you thriving in Arsenal, because that's right now all I know is the only time we look decent is when we do the underdog thing, you know, and then we try to counter attack down that left hand channel, and historically what happens, or we might get the rub of the green like we have a couple of times against Chelsea. So I can't confidently say an attacking player is going to thrive in this system, because you're here, you see the metrics, you know where we finished in terms of scoring goals, you know where we rank in terms of creating chances. There's one thing buying the tools, there's a next way of using it. You know, you could buy a bunch of plumbing things. You know, you could give me a bunch of plumbing tools and tell me do the job. I can't do it because I've never learned anything about plumbing. You can bring in an actual plumber who's able to utilize the tools. So we're only as good as the tools at our disposal. You know, it's catch-22. Arteta does need better players, but he also has to show he deserves the right for better players, because when he came in, I said it then, and I'm going to say it now, I think, you know, there's many variables that clearly he can't control. Clearly he can't be accountable for. Clearly it's unfair to really draw him out and things about. But at the same time, on the football in front, we should at least be able to sit here and say, boy, Arteta plays some good football. These players are limited. Kind of what we saw in his first period, in that you could see he was setting us up in ways, and people's frailties was let us down. Ironically, Chelsea, you know, what was it? We played Chelsea within the first 2 weeks of him being here. That season, do you remember we basically, well, you can't basically say it, but we won the game. And then Tammy and I think Mount, I could be wrong, last 15 or something, they threw it away with our naive, they ruined it for Arsenal, sorry, and with our naive game management. So it's a techie one. There's a lot of things I need to see Mikel Arteta arrest, and very quickly. If not, live by the sword, die by the sword, didn't it? You don't know what time it is, really and truly. But yeah, Martin Ødegaard can only be as good as Arteta's system, man. Or you're just going to see what we typically see. 3-4 games, certain players look amazing. Then it's a bit of a madness. I don't like these. I always call it building the house on the sand when I see things like that. With respect to Callum Chambers, when man are talking about that should be your long-term right back, that's what I call building your house on the sand. Take nothing away from Chambers. Before he got that long-term injury, when called upon, he done well. You know, he done well last season. Really, let's be real. That the last game he played against Brentford, he has to hold his hands up. That's the only real poor game he has had of recent. But certain fans forgot this is a centre-half playing right back. There will be times you will see that, like with Tanganga at Spurs. I rate Tanganga. I was going to do a video saying players of the week. I think Tanganga was the best player on that pitch, you know, against City, you know. But there's going to be times where Spurs need an out-and-out right back. He can do a job, you know, and that's like us. You know, I think it's suicide to genuinely bet on these things. It's like you got people talking about Tavares being a right back. I hear it, and I'm not against it. And there might be a world where it works, but the man is a left back, or we don't clearly know if you're a left or a right back right now. We hear you do a bunch of things, but what are you? And not to get at him, I just feel like Arsenal, the lines get blurred. They've happened with Partey already, Man are looking at Partey to be Vieira, which is difficult in itself, but looking at him to break the lines. When has he ever been there to break the lines? People get the lines crossed in that, yes, he needs to be able to do more than what he's primarily there for. Same with Lokonga. You can't just win the ball back. You need to be a progressive passer. But they're there to be box-to-box, ball winning midfielders, composed physical figures as well as technical in the middle of the park. And I think at Arsenal, too many things, there's too many variables. I think the fans do it. People start... I don't know it, but the best phrase is that we become a jack of all trades, master of none. And I'm pretty sure you can go through the squad and look at them. And historically, for years, Theo, are you a striker? Are you right winger? Ox, are you right back? Centre mid, right wing? What are you? And there's plenty of more. And there's even some now, really. So we'll have to see what's going on, man. But yeah, man. Interesting one. I heard Turkey's being linked with Leipzig now. Where are we, man? Where are we? Where are we? This is what we need to, man. Back in school, so I'm finally up for a DG stream. Fair play. Hope you enjoyed your holidays or whatever, man. Get that as the intro, outro on YouTube. You're getting love, man. They're getting love. They're getting love. One love to Little Nitty. Again, your name kills me. Congrats on 50K. I would love to say 50 is 40, but I appreciate that, my guy, man. One love. 50 soon land, man. Hope this ain't Ceballos part 2. I hope not. I hope not as well. I really hope not. Ceballos, do you know what it is? What underwhelmed me the most about Ceballos? It was the lack of IQ, Doing skills in places you don't need to. Arsenal fans, we used to have a running joke. It's not an Arsenal game if he ain't lost it on the edge of his area. It's just the footballing IQ. I'm not going to lie. I rate Partey, but a bit of that as well with Partey as well. And actually Bruno Fernandes since Sporting to United. I'm not saying these are bad players, but you get the point. It's just when you see a player on a regular basis, it's not that they're not as good as you think they are. It's just you're looking at them in a different light. Like obviously, we was all watching Atletico Madrid, but I never knew Partey, for example. I think we all can admit he has them 5 to 10 minute stages in the game where he moves a bit mad with his passing and everything's a bit mad. It's a bit of a brain freeze. So yeah, man. The Lukaku versus Ben White memes are gold, bro. I'm shook, but I hope he does something. Tammy just reminds me of an Ish Adebayor. To be fair, man, that's harsh. But even then, Adebayor was a wavy player, man. They've made like 90 million just from Cobham sales alone. Exactly. See what happens when you're proactive and not reactive. You see it. It's crazy, man. Big up DG in the nation. I feel Ødegaard will be an asset to our midfield. Aouar will be the cherry. Just need a solid right back to establish a starting 11. Lord help our, I'm just going to say coach. One love, my guy. But you're right still, But that's what annoys me about Arsenal. We always do a little thing. Not to say you have hope, but they'll sign if we need to improve our defense, they'll sign one right back. They'll sign a left back, but not a right back. They'll sign one centre half and stay with a dodgy centre half and an inconsistent keeper. If we need to improve creativity, we might not sign a striker. We'll sign a cam, but no strikers. We'll sign wingers, but no cam. Striker, but no one to service them. It's like we're in love with unfinished projects, really. So I want to be wrong about that. I want to say we've had a good transfer market. I don't think it's the worst. I'm not gonna. Do you know what? I don't know how I would rate our market if and when Ødegaard's confirmed. Like of the players that will be Arsenal players, I think I don't want to say we can confidently say because I don't know, what's going on. But I think we can say Ødegaard, Ramsdale, Lokonga, Tavares, Ben White. That's 5. Am I missing out someone, people? Lokonga, Ramsdale, Tavares, Ben White, Ødegaard. I swear that's it. I don't think I'm missing anyone else out, but I want to say 6, but I think 6, I have to give the club fairity and say, you know what, we needed creativity. You've brought one in, which is Ødegaard. So I might say 7 when I remove emotion, but for me personally, I'd give the market, if assuming Ødegaard and that's it with Ramsdale, I'd give it a 6. I don't think it's the worst of windows. I think you've got tools that, you know, it's not going to necessarily make our case of getting Europe stronger, but there is certain people that can do a thing for us long term, really. There's no players that are going to shake up trees, but you've addressed certain areas. I wouldn't say the squad is stronger, but I wouldn't say it's stronger. It's like, I'm not going to look at the Arsenal team and think, yo, it's mad stronger now, but you've addressed some areas. Obviously, I like what I see from Lokonga. I actually am quite happy about bringing in Ødegaard. I hope Tavares can grow. I hope Ben White can get better in all of these sort of things. And, Ramsdale, I'll give him a chance. I'm not going to be one of those fans, but apart from just addressing areas, none of them really take the club to the next level. For me, if you bring Aouar, doesn't take us to the next level. But I think if you get Aouar, I'm like, okay, cool, because now there's problems in midfield. Arteta's bromance with Xhaka, or do you play Thomas Partey, who you spent 50 or whatever million, you activated his release clause? Something's got to get shaken up there. Shout out Lokonga as well. So I'd probably give it a 6, but I think that's very harsh. So I might just say 7, or you know what, we'll cut it down the middle and maybe say 6.5. In my heart, I think it's a 6. When I remove my emotion, I'll give it a 7. I'll leave you lot to decide where you lot would be. Let me know. Moderators, someone set up a poll as well. Assuming Arsenal's transfer business is done after Ødegaard and Ramsdale, where would you rate that? Can I get a 6 and a 7? Or let's just say, how can I make it so there's bare options? Can we say +6 or below 6? So, yeah, certain people might even think our window's been that sort of level. Well, he would be amazing, but then again, how are they going to develop, bro? Ødegaard and Aouar together is better than Maddison. On the face of it, purely because we've got a partner for Partey when fit, I would say yes, but boy, can't see it happening, man. Ødegaard's closest thing to Mesut Ozil we have gotten. Less impressive of a CV than Ozil, but less of a CV than Ozil had, but also 2 full years younger than Ozil when we got him. Important to sign players from the Giants so they can posture for the next big freeze. To be fair with you, I hear that 100%, but again, back to the system. If you're getting Mesut Ozil, he's a poetry in motion guy. Like Wenger used to say, if I'm bringing, to play Perez, 10 other men got to work harder. Ozil's metrics, funny enough, he runs the most, but we know he's not a getting stuck in guy. And really, you don't want to get stuck in guy. He's a luxury. If you have luxury, you need people who are just going to do the job, really. And everyone has to work harder. And for me, if you get these guys, there's no half measures with these number 10s. You've got to double down. You either everything runs through them or they don't play any games of significance, really and truly. And I think with Ødegaard, you have to double down. And in general, we're too naive in midfield. Ødegaard does press well as well, so he'll put his shift in. But I genuinely think there's gonna come a time, and I want to be wrong, but based on what I'm seeing from Arteta, Ødegaard's going to play. Smith Rowe might even be on the football field. And we're still going to sit here and say, boy, why are we not creating? What's going on here? What's happening there? Because no matter how much you bring players in and whatever, there's an element of football you can't escape. And ironically, behind what Ødegaard's on in this picture, the pitch, byproduct, I'd rather us, at least with Chelsea, you could say, evidently, them out there need a striker because they can do everything else out. Nobody quite wants to score. With us, it does look like a bit of a plan, not evident, but it looks like a plan. Definitely, when we get to the edge of the opponent's area, you don't get the vibe we're scoring. We're short, forever short corners, Tierney might put Tierney's the only one that's really a direct threat. The ball's going to the box, but no one's trying to get on the end of them. Typically, it's sideways, backwards, forward, backwards, and then eventually we get crowded out and things like that. You lot watch football, you lot watch Arsenal, so I don't need to expand any further on that. You lot watch it, you lot have eyes, and I'd like to think you lot are competent enough to put 2 and 2 together, which I believe all of you lot are at. Please make sure you're following and subscribing and the rest of them people and checking out YouTube. One love to the Twitch gang. Let's keep moving. What else are you lot saying? I think Tammy will succeed, but Dzeko is no scrub. Tammy has large boots to fill. Fact. I think his technical side of the game will improve rapidly. It needs to, because I think it will. Jose is going to demand, Tammy, that it improves. Obviously, you look at them, you look at him. Like I said, you can work on hold-up play. You can work on heading. You can work on anticipation. These are not necessarily things that are problems. And with Tammy, he's only 23, 22, 23. He's still a young man as a striker. Where was half of these top strikers difficult? But where were they at that age? The problem with him is He's young enough to still have a top career and one day maybe even be part of a Chelsea team challenging for stuff. But right now, Chelsea need a certified guy. For whatever reason, Tuchel is not convinced. So yeah, it's a good move to Roma. And you know, Chelsea fans, you know, he was Cobham and all of those things. Roma don't give a crap. We need to score goals. Simple as that, man. Hope everybody's attacking the day and getting some good results. Amen, Bookie Bandit. Come on. What are you lot saying? Maybe maybe at 8. It would be 7. It would be 7 if we got out the deadwood. I'd rather us kept the signings of Tavares, Lokonga, White if we sold Bellerin, Cedric, Kolasinac, Willian, Jacques. Obviously, yeah, man. I'd probably say points really, because again, I'd probably say you're around the right points tally because I completely disregarded outgoings. Outgoings, bro, it's a 0 really, a 2 really. It started off well. Unlike last year, you found a quick home for Saliba on loan. You've dealt with the Guendouzi thing. It's easier said than done. There has been tournaments. It is a COVID market. There's many variables, but we're still. Have you noticed on my streams, you lot are still asking me the same questions. I'm still saying the same things. We're still asking, what's going on with Torreira? What's happening with Maitland? You know, fair enough. Joe Willock just gone out the door, and I'll give the club a bit of brownie points. You know, Joe's been on the books a couple of years. He excelled after 6 months. You know, a real excelling after going out on loan. They found 20 odd million. Now, obviously, I would have loved Joe to stay, but I'm trying to be impartial. You know, with exception to Joe, even that took a bit long to do. You know, and you're bringing in Ødegaard now, but there's still many a players you don't know what's going on. Xhaka has signed a new deal, but that one was a bit mad. We still don't know where we stand with Leno. We still actually don't know Bellerin. We hear whispers, so there hasn't been anything solved in that regard. So, in terms of outgoings, I can't lie, man. You're looking at something dusty, really. If I'm completely honest with you, I can't cap. You know, outgoings would probably be a 0. I don't think there's been anything of significance. You know what? 0's harsh because I just kind of praised him for stuff. I give him a 2, 3. But again, the window's not closed, man. Will Lacazette and Aubameyang be ready for Sunday? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I hope so. Or if not, other players have to stand up and it makes our case harder. Need to pass these points on to someone who can do a poll. I have too many. I don't know why you have to do that. See, you'll have to educate me on Twitch. Again, Tino, like I said, there was hella overwhelming information. The first thing I looked at is how you even set up the ability for people to spend points, which we're going to look at getting into. But Twitch is very overwhelming, man. But we'll get there. Smith Rowe and Ødegaard link up well. Smith Rowe's speed is under discussed. He can 100% do a job as a forward. Yeah, he can do a job as a wide forward. I don't know who you're speaking to about that, but if that's to my point, that there will be times where we have Smith Rowe and Ødegaard on the exact pitch and wonder our creativity. It weren't at them, it's the plan B. You know, these that can't create nothing if people are not going to get on the end of things. To send a text, someone has to receive a text, surely. Or you're going to get that bounce back where it says that it ain't gone anywhere. Can't make polls on a mobile app, so it's techie. Oh, that's acting. That's acting. So no polls, no. Moderators are doing the guy dirty. I wish I knew to do it myself. What else are you lot saying? This is quite entertaining, ain't it? I've been reading Lacquer on his way. Oh, Lacazette. Well, you know what? He's got a year left, but it all depends what we're doing with him, man. Like, what are we doing with him, really? Like, are we using him as a mate weight? You know, for me, Lacazette can leave, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. We didn't bring Lacazette to be a squad player, but if I judge him on what he brings, I do think you need a senior guy who can just hold up the play and do the things we kind of praise Lacazette for. As I said, when we looked at Lacazette for Lyon, I was looking at goal scorers, difference maker, all of these things. And I think he is that. He has scored in big games. He is still, in my head, a big game player, you know. But I really praise him for his link-up play, his pressing, him being a good team worker. I can't lie to you. For 50-odd million, you should be. And for me, I've always told you, I don't really like to praise players for working hard. You should be able to work hard, really and truly. It's a basic competency, really. So if you lose Lacazette, I do think we're a bit weak. You know, as you lot saw, Balogun is still learning, still developing physically. You know, Lacazette, we could have had scenarios just like with Lacazette when we played Brentford, where him and Aubameyang are on the field, and more so with Lacazette. Them games there against them experienced and quite physical centre halves from the Championship, You need a physical man, or just like Gabriel against West Brom. Sometimes you just need a bit of experience while these guys are still growing in that role. So yeah, if we're losing Lacazette, that's an L, man. Again, I would like to see that addressed, but who do you bring in? If you're gonna, you might as well use it as a token to bring in someone significantly better. Who that is, I don't know. And where would he go though? Like, this is what I mean. Like, who's gonna take on them wages? I do think Lacazette can get a move, but where? Like, Arsenal can't be getting a decent fee. If we do, then big up Edu. Philip Coutinho, I think PC is. That's the first time I've seen Philip Coutinho caught as that. I can't lie. I almost was about to ask that. What's going on here? Zachariah Awa. I'm not really feeling the Zachariah thing. If we're gonna go for someone like that, I'd rather just get Basuma now. Really, I think Basuma would be a better option than Zachariah. Zachariah has improved, but I think in this last season, I ain't really seen his on the ball ability improve enough for me, and I just feel. I don't think he's got, and he needs to. I'm not really convinced enough. Like, and I'm a big fan of him, but as I tell you, look, it goes another way. So it is where it is. I would be interested though. Why not? But if Laka leaves, then I think we need to bring in someone with hold up play, which is why I didn't understand Tammy, because Tammy can develop that, but right now he can't really hold up the ball. And again, like with Tammy, when you look at assume Tammy came in, but Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, Tavares, Ben White, Gabriel. And there's many more. These are players that are not in the final stages. They still need a lot of development. And I haven't seen any of them look significantly better under Arteta. So it's like, why are you going to add more to that sort of thing? Now, under Wenger, I know not every young player hit their peak, but I never had any concerns about that. I did under Emre, but to be fair, a couple of what he was doing, they look like more clarity across some metrics, people, if I'm completely honest. So it is what it is. Let me flick over to Twitch Manager and try and do this. Chat setting. Oh, that's chat settings. Oh, that's channel points. I don't think that's that. Let's leave that alone. What's this? Can't share your own chat. What's this? That's a big key one. It used to be a button. Oh, guess there's no polls. Manage poll. What's this? New poll. What? How good has Arsenal's transfer activity been so far? Let me put so far. Let's find some realistic ones. You know what I'll say? I'll say 0 because some of you like that. I'll say 10 because some of you are excited. I'll say 5 because some of you are calm. I think 6 is a fair enough one, and I think 7. So yeah, man, let's let that one go for about 3 minutes. So yeah, get voting, people. You want something done, do it yourself. I mean, what do you mean content does not meet guidelines? What? This ain't no poll or nothing. I just want to start a poll. What's all this? Let's say a minute. What's bits and that? Allow additional votes, bits per vote, channel points, bro. This is a bit too mad for me. I don't know what's going on here, people. I'm just gonna click one bit. I don't know what that means. This might mean you lot can't even vote. And it's saying I can't even do that as well. I tried, man. Like I said, we're learning about Twitch. I don't have a clue what is going on here. No, that poll is not banging, people. So we're gonna leave that. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. I tried. I gave it my best effort, man. How many players do we actually have all together? Squad is bloated. Bro, the squad's been bloated for years. The one thing that, what's his face, man? Kroenke's son. The one thing he said was right is that we kind of have a bloated squad, but we've been knowing that, This is why I get onto them, because he said it himself when we went out the Champions League. Didn't he say something like Europa League budget, Champions League squad, not to praise their ability, but to say the imbalance? We've known that. So when Edu and these lot stepped in, did you not say the mandate was to clear the books? And how did you help them? Because as much as I criticize Edu's ability to sell people, I feel a bit sorry for him because again, it's very difficult, and I don't know if he's surrounded by experience and you ask these questions to provoke a different trail of thought, much like we say about Arteta. So it's a bit of a gazy one, if I'm completely honest. I think they extended Xhaka just to keep or build value because we couldn't replace with those pieces. Boy, that you're probably not wrong, but what value, man? Because this is he had an okay, we finished eighth. He was probably one of our best performers last season. He's had this amazing Euros where people have said maybe it's just the way Arsenal were using him. Why are you not? I'm not saying, listen, Roma didn't want to pay the piece. They wanted to for Tammy. Why didn't no one want to pay the fees? Why wasn't there so many offers for this amazing footballer for the Xhaka sexuals out there? What's going on there? It is what it is. He's staying, but what value? I get it from Xhaka's perspective because he's one of the first names on the team sheet along with Tierney and Bukayo Saka. So I'd be saying I need a new contract. Maybe he was always playing Roma to get a new deal, and maybe he's doing, he tried to put one over Jose for his old homie Wenger. But realistically, we all know personal terms were agreed. Guys were flirting with Italy, all thingy, and then he's staying. Arteta never wanted man to go. He wanted to go. I don't blame Xhaka for getting a new deal. I question it because what happens what we should have is that Lokonga steps up and next midfielder comes in. What are we saying then? If you want to keep him in and around the team as a squad player for mentality, fair play. With respect to El Nene, I don't think Xhaka's on that. I think if Xhaka has to be a squad player, he'll want to keep it moving, which might be music to a lot of you lot's ears, really. But what value? I think you just give him a new deal, just it's the right thing to them to do, because you run the risk, the risk of him just running down his deal and leaving for free. So you're right, but boy, you can't go from having to look for replacements from a man to giving a man a new deal. Does that tells me that you were not really ready and prepared to revolutionize this midfield to the scale it does? And ultimately, we've picked the safe option. But certain men were safe players when they played for this club. Can I be surprised that they're doing safe things when they're managers? So it's a madness. No, there's no Odegaard versus Smith Rowe debate. Obviously, there's pressure for places. If it's just a thing where someone's playing off the 10, then I know both could be groomed into playing 8, but someone's got to win it. So again, they're pushing each other. For what I feel, if there was no such thing as Smith Rowe, you can't just look at Ødegaard to help our creativity. Other players need to step up. You can't just look at Smith Rowe, the young Smith Rowe. So it helps that. Obviously, there's adaptability there. And for me, there's competition for places because indirectly, Ødegaard and Smith Rowe are options out wide on the left, as is Aubameyang still, rightly or wrongly, as is Martinelli. How high is he? I don't know. Saka, Pepe. There's competition for places. Everybody, even with Smith Rowe and Aubameyang, indirectly, if they're playing if they're playing or not playing, it does have consequences for some of our attackers. So yeah, man, there's problems, but you know how people do it, man. People say we need depth and all of these things, and then they do the rivalry thing, and they say how can they do? Certain man was saying don't bring in Ødegaard because there's Smith Rowe in January. Certain people saying don't do this because there's Smith Rowe. Then they say we just rely on Smith Rowe. What do you want? Like what things would look different for City if they said, you know what, we're just relying on Phil Foden. I back him to do it, but there's issues there with doing things like that. I don't think in a recent time a single tournament hurt a player's value more than Zachariah at the Euros. He looked rubbed still. Question for you, Deluded. With the number 10 slowly fading from playing, being replaced by high energy players like Bruno, do you think more teams will play the traditional 10s as 6s, Tiempo controllers? I don't think there'll be 10s. It's just what you see here. People will carry the ball up the field, play these passes. The 10s are not there now. It's just creativity will be put in someone like, Kevin De Bruyne is an artist, but I always use him rightly as the modern example of what you should be trying to have in the middle of your park. So 10s are not going to be there. Honestly, Odegaard coming back is okay. I would have preferred Maddison, but it is what it is. I want to see ambition from this club. Our rivals are running away from us in terms of building for the future. Boy. I think AM said Pjanic would be nice on a short-term basis. Facts, but probably a movie, man. I'm hearing United are going to make a bid for Tushimani. Very good player. They need to go do that. El Nene, Williams, Cedric, and Bellerin need to be given away, in my opinion. Yeah, bro, put them in a gift bag. You know, when little kids have parties and you get the little gift bag with the cake and the sweets, bro, slap Bellerin in there, man. Suitable for vegans and that as well. Easiest way to stagnate a player's development is to not challenge him with a replacement. Exactly. And I'm not being funny, but bro, man, at Arsenal wearing the number 10, you've got a target on your back. That's the spot we all want to see improve. That's the spot you have to be a difference maker. You know, the 7 with Saka as well, you know, or the 7 at United, or the number 9 at United, or, you know, equivalent numbers all over. You have to. And I don't think Smith Rowe is like that, but we've seen with certain players when they've had a free sort of run at the team and at a spot, we all know what happens, man. We love a number 10 with the initials MO. To be fair with you, is 11-3. There might be a copyright case, but there could be something there. That was funny still. MO in the 10, Saka on the right, Smith on the left, and Oba/Laka up top. That could be an option. You know, you got to throw in the combinations with Pepe and Martinelli. You know, Saka, Martinelli, and Pepe with either one of those behind. Could be a madness. It's a bit harsh. Ødegaard getting that number 8. I hope not, because I hope, you know, in the same way I was hoping the 10 jersey would stay free. I'm hoping Hours just getting his pictures done and whatnot, man. Saliba needs to FaceTime. In fact, maybe not after your shenanigans. I don't know if he might think he's booky, but yeah, someone that's not going to do booky things needs to holler Hour and tell him to get this done, man. He needs to make the football manager dreams come to life. I'm not gassed, but a bit happier. Yeah. And to be honest, it's not, obviously, as fans, you want to see gas signings, you want to be going wow, but is it about being wowed or is it about finding competencies? And arguably, I think, listen, I don't know, but I think Ødegaard is surprised of you because people genuinely are behaving, or some Arsenal fans like he's a scrub. I love Our, bro. I'm shameless with you. I love Our. I love Our as a footballer, you know. I love Our, man. He's a baller, bro. Like, I'm an Arsenal fan. He's French. I'm always going to do that. Same way I love Camavinga, but them man there's a dream. I love Maribia as well. I love Karim Adeyemi. It's not going to happen. So I have to sell myself the Our dream. It's not over until the fat lady sings, until I see a madness. You know, just get it done, man. Just get it done. Please. Just get it done. Him, Karim Adeyemi, I don't ask for much, you know. I really don't ask for much. Please, Arsenal, man. Can't lie, I really believe Smith Rowe's at 8. I think he can play as an 8, 100%. Whether he'll play as an 8 under Arteta or anytime soon, I don't know, man. Him and Laka are probably boys. Trust me, tell him there's Sisha here. There's all these things, man. London lifestyle. Arteta, you know, he might not be here long. There's not too much pressure. I'm trying to appeal a lot of people up, but yeah, man. Yeah, not yet, of course. But I see what you mean, man. Short and medium term, 10, left centre forward, sort of thing. 8, you know, if we could, little cup matches, try run that, try getting blooded into that, because I think he's got the defensive aspects. I just think if he's going to play 8, it's not always a dribbling thing. Sometimes you're going to have to get out your feet. And we don't really know Smith Rowe's variety of long range pass. We see it a lot, but we don't really see it. So, yeah, man, it's interesting still. Very interesting. But yeah, long term, I see him as that. Why not? I see him as a Grealish. Nothing like Grealish, but Grealish can play as an 8. Grealish can play as a 10. Grealish can City are madmen, so he can play as a striker, but he can play off that left-hand side. And nobody says a thing. Clearly, you probably think Grealish would just be best in any sort of free role where he can go and do whatever. I think Grealish should be a blueprint for Smith Rowe. But then they say it's Kevin De Bruyne, so two very good guide points, both at City. Ironically, if you start developing and we're moving the way we're moving, you might not be here long, man. Man, I can't put them on. I personally want to keep Laka and Aubameyang and get Aouar and a nice solid right back. Also bring back Saliba. I can't lie, I want to see Saliba play, but pardon me, I can't be optimistic with that one there, man. Because surely his contract needs to get sorted. Apparently the club thingy, you know, explained to him that he's part of the plans, but is that legit or is it lip services? I don't know, people. I really don't. On the topic of Harry Kane, you know, we said we're going to speak about a couple of things. Let's not just make this about Arsenal. Let's slap 53, 45 Harry Kane. Now, I can't lie, man. I think Harry Kane's not leaving Spurs, man. I want him to, but I don't think it's happening because Levy's dragging his heels, people, and it all depends where you read. Apparently, the bids ain't been placed. There's been a certain bid. The bid is falling short. I mean, Fabrizio Romano is saying Manchester City bid for Harry Kane is in place since last week. You know, there was 150 million euros ready from Man City, but Tottenham are still in the same position. Surely it's now or never within these next 2 weeks because Spurs have to find a replacement. Kane's either got a double all in or just say or just come out and be shameless and say, the rumors aren't true. I've always wanted to stay at Spurs. We're getting to that period. Allegedly, he's not. He's hoping to play against Wolves at the weekend, but he's not traveling on Thursday. Well, he's not traveling today, and he's not playing on Thursday in the Conference League. Just let the man go to City, bite the bullet, and get a replacement. Who knows? Maybe Spurs are indirectly tying up loose ends with a potential replacement. Do Man City need Harry Kane is the question. I think yes, because I think ironically against Spurs, you can have all of these great attackers. Sometimes football's a basic game. Someone just needs to put the ball in the back of the net. City don't have that. You know, City do not have that. None of them are goal scorers like that. They might get goals, but they're not goal scorers. So I think they need to come to a resolution where Harry Kane is concerned, people. And then obviously you move on to Cristiano Ronaldo. There's been rumors Ronaldo's going back to Madrid, which he's quickly quashed. You know, the club have quashed it. I wouldn't rule it out because he's a free agent next year. Juventus are probably making an ish load of money just off Ronaldo being there. But, you know, maybe they say it's a financial strain too heavy because when you look at it, I think I've got it here. You know, his gross salary is around 80 million euros every year. So he probably pays that off. But he's been linked with PSG, obviously. And Mbappe's been linked with Real Madrid either now or for free. The knock-on effect could be Ronaldo. So I'm keen to see what happens there. He could stay at Juventus. He could go back to Madrid. He could go elsewhere. Or he apparently he's even been offered to Manchester City, where that would be absolutely crazy for obvious reasons, man. If Kane stays, City could be in trouble. I think so, because again, plenty of times these 50 games, 30 games, that false nine stuff will work. But that one game when it's not working, what happens then? And I think that's a variable that I think obviously Pep Guardiola considers it. But you get where I'm going. It's like you look at Gab Jesus, he hasn't quite kicked on. The false nine thing doesn't always work. You know, Spurs had the cheat code for it. So City need a striker. You know, what is their plan B? You know, what is Man City's plan B? Harry Kane plan B? There has to be other targets. Who? I don't know. You know, I see some comments resurfacing from Pep Guardiola last year in that club spend 50 odd million on a striker when they've got academy strikers. So maybe them comments could come back to haunt him. I don't know. Take that. Evie stubborn. Gab Jesus is a fraud. That's harsh. Gab Jesus ain't a fraud. Surprised we didn't get ours since they cut his price in half this season. Same, man. Hope we go for him. I hope we're aggressive in going for him. You know, make sure you're voting. Will Levy let Kane go? I'm gonna say no. 56% are saying no so far. I don't think he's going nowhere. The lap is right there. I think he needs to go on loan though. I don't know if he can play that techie City stuff. I think he needs to show something on loan. I don't know if he's quite the guy, but you're right. They could hardly do any worse. Imagine Lacko at Aubameyang going to City. Well, Aubameyang in current form would bang at City. He just put the ball in the back of the net, but I don't think you play too much. Lacazette probably enjoy it, but I mean, it's a myth. Saliba must be better than Marie. I think so. Is Ainsley Maitland-Niles a better right back than Cedric and Chambers? I can't convincingly say yes. I'd say I'd rather him play than both of them. If I had to go based off current evidence, I think Chambers gets some credit in the bank based off last year, but based on that Brentford game, myth. Absolute myth. You saw it with your own, own eyes. Ødegaard an hour for just over 50 million is good business. Yeah, but you need to get the other name you said over the line because we haven't really seen much being said in relation to him. So yeah, you lot don't think Daniel Levy's letting go of Harry Kane. It makes sense. It fully makes sense. Make sure you're following and them things there if you haven't done such already. I'm better than Pablo. I'm sure you are, man. I hear that though. Makes sense. Let me see if there's any other Arsenal news. Same old, it's the same old Ødegaard. We haven't seen any significant ones. If Kane wants to move, it will happen. Ødegaard is in London for a medical. We touched on that at the start. You're right. Doesn't seem like there's anything else of significance, just in the footballing world, like not even just to do with Arsenal, really. You know, like I said, Arsenal have agreed a 30 million deal for Ødegaard. Kane has not travelled to Spurs. You know, Lukaku's fit and available to play against Chelsea. And for Chelsea fans who don't know, he'll wear the number 9 shirt. Not that you couldn't have guessed that already. That seems to be the only things of significance. Little whispers in the wind about, you know, Mbappe leaving and going to Madrid, and even Aubameyang leaving. Whether that happens is another thing. You know, I heard Michy Batshuayi got a new deal at Chelsea and then went on loan to Besiktas, so they're getting their peas in. You know, I'm looking on Sky Sports now. I've just tapped it in, and if you support Man United, apparently Man United have upgraded change rooms and broadcast media facilities as part of a wider 20 million revamp of Old Trafford. So if you work in media and you're at Old Trafford, it is what it is. You know, Millwall fans have sadly booed the knee. You know, we all know what a disgrace of a football club, man. I'm ashamed that Arsenal even negotiated with Millwall to let players go out on loan. I mean, I got nothing to do with Millwall, but I genuinely hope they get relegated, disbanded, and the rest of it, people. Joke of a football club, that. Norwich are in advanced talks to get Brandon Williams on loan for Man United. As you lot already know, Chelsea are in talks to sell Emerson to Lyon. Spurs have made approach for Caligari midfielder Nandez. I'm just going to call him Nandez. Nihitan Nandez. Decent little player. Did he not spend time at Inter? If I remember correctly. 25 years of age. Very decent little player. He's been linked with West Ham as well. Sorry, yeah, he hasn't played for Inter. He's been linked with Inter, the Uruguayan. That's where he rings a bell. Decent little technical footballer there. Would, you know, Spurs could definitely do a lot worse than signing him. That would be a good signing for them, if I'm completely real with you. Is a back three a temporary solution for the coming 2 games or a permanent one? Definitely for the first 2 games. Long term, I want to see a back 4. But if this man isn't going to play us to the standard where we can, then you might as well play a back 3, man. Sadly, racism will be in football forever, but it doesn't deserve its place. Clubs should be hit big money for it. Exactly, but they're never going to be. It's absolutely shameful, man. Did you hear about the Chelsea fans say Vern out over the PA system? Yeah, I did, man. I mean, it's harsh, man, really. You know, that will kill a man's confidence. But at the same time, fans are allowed to, you know, they're not allowed to do that, but, you know, they're probably, a lot of people probably agreeing. Probably a lot of people internally agreeing, you know. If he heard it, it'd probably kill his confidence because you got, you know, the euphoria of a new striker. And then you've got you. But at the end of the day, you've only got yourself to blame for whatever reason, Werner. Because if you're doing the business in front of goal, it wouldn't be a thing. They wouldn't buy Lukaku if you could show you could score goals. Because no one wants to spend money they don't have to. As rich as these clubs are, you know, if PSG could find the next Mbappe in their academy, I don't think they're going to spend 200 million on him. And logically, every club. Some clubs are mad, you know. Man United had Pogba, sold him. I mean, let him go for free and then brought him back. So you never know. But you get the point. Quite harsh though, man, but he's just got to use that to put fire in his belly and say, you know what, let me prove people wrong. You know, you're not Modric. Modric was voted the worst player in La Liga when at a point. You know, Aaron Ramsey was hated at this club. Certain fans were moved to tears and begging him to stay. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. And I'm sure there's many other. Ferguson almost got sacked at United. People towards the end begging him to stay. So things can change, man. He's just got to use that as motivation, really. I would say. It's a slow news day, I can't lie. On my other websites for news. So yeah. Well, there's actually articles about the get Werner out thing now. Harsh. Very harsh. Such is life though, man. Such is life. He's gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, on that note, people, we've been here for an hour. We've covered what we've needed to cover. There's nothing else to speak about. So yeah, I'm going to let you lot go. Please make sure you're following. Please make sure you're supporting. One love for the 40K and things like that. Yeah, man, obviously I'll be back again streaming on Twitch /YouTube at some point tomorrow. So make sure you're looking out for it. But on that note, we might as well spin some content.
There's always that accurate like defending.
I think it's like.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
Still on the floor.